So my faith journey started out when I was young. My parents sent me to an Episcopalian all-boys school from kindergarten through 12th grade. And being Episcopalian school, we had chapel every week. We had religious classes as part of the standard curriculum, so I guess I got a full Christian indoctrination starting at a young age. And we moved into high school and had religion classes. One of my favorite things, when we were talking about Jesus walking on water or having a burning bush talk to Moses, one of my favorite things to do was to raise my hand and say, "But how do you know?" And I'd get the standard answer about faith and believing and blah, 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 blah. And while that was all well and good, it just was never totally satisfying to me. So the next phase of my life, I went to engineering school. And of course in college, maybe like many people, I didn't feel a burning need to, keep in touch with God on a regular basis. But, interesting thing happened while I was in engineering school and studying physics and thermodynamics and a little astronomy and some oceanography and blah, 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 blah. I started, noticing that there were facts of nature that got to be kind of challenging to fully understand or fully explain. Like, for example, the Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory says that all the matter in the universe started in a little ball and exploded out at the same time. And, you hear about astronomers talking about the expansion of the universe and so forth and so on. Well, that's an interesting concept, but, how do you get all of the matter in the universe to be in one little ball, actually? How do you get all the matter in the universe to just kind of magically appear all at the same time in the same place? Well, science doesn't explain that part of it very well. And, then we have things like how coincidental is it that Earth is where it is in relationship to the sun? So we, life forms here are not freezing or frying. And then we can talk about, the fundamental elements like carbon and hydrogen and how they're in just the perfect proportion to allow life to happen and be sustained. And then we even get into the genetic coding, and we marvel at the mastery of the programming of the genetic code that allows life to continue to reproduce and so forth. And we're just beginning to understand that, but we have no idea where that original programming came from. And it's even hard to imagine that, it's so exquisite in its form, but, complex in its arrangement. It's hard to imagine that that could have happened just by accident, by random circumstances. So, while I didn't necessarily talk to God on a regular basis, while I was in engineering school, I saw evidence of him almost everywhere. I had to come to the conclusion that there was, something behind all of these coincidences, this fine-tuning, this tweaking of nature and the physical world, couldn't possibly be accidental. But even learning all of that, I never got my question answered. How do you know? Well, years later, out of engineering school, I was fishing on a nearby reservoir in upstate New York with a friend of mine. We carried our canoe down to the reservoir. It was fall, the leaves were brilliant gold and red, And when we got down to the water, there was about a 3-foot layer of fog sitting right on top of the water. It was a dead calm. And we get in the canoe, and we're paddling along, and there's only, little sounds like fish jumping off in the distance. We could hear an occasional bird. And it felt like we were paddling through a cloud. And as we go along, all of a sudden there's a big whap on the water. We got a little too close to Mr. or Mrs. Beaver, who decided to slap the water and tell us to go away. And we canoed a little bit farther, and the most amazing thing we saw, it was a doe and her fawn swimming across the reservoir through the fog. Sight neither one of us had ever seen before. And so my brain instantly started trying to analyze all of the different variables and physical processes that would have to transpire to make this scene a reality. And it didn't work. I couldn't find good justification why all of this would come together at one place. So, it was about that time, or at that time, that, I finally came to realize that if I could see this, then there was no reason that, people couldn't see Jesus walk across the water. Or Moses couldn't hear the burning bush talking. So that encouraged me to get much more involved in church at that point in time. And I also decided to actively try to help people see all the evidence of God that's around them, like I did. And if you study logic, there's a saying that goes, the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. So while you may not have seen God perform a miracle at the halftime at the Super Bowl, that doesn't mean that there isn't plenty of evidence of God all around us. So my mission these days is to help people open their minds and open their eyes and look and question and see all of the evidence of God that's around us every day. Thanks be to God.